I will also use the advanced portrait retouch. There is, if you come up to the portrait retouch, you can come through and do these individually, which is brilliant, and I've done that on a few of them. Or there is a fast retouch which does like eyes, skin and teeth. I don't have any eyes open, I certainly don't have any teeth, so I really just need the skin. But what you need to do before you start running your retouch is go through, I'll merge that image, and I will do a little bit of my own retouching with the healing brush. So if I come through, I'll just pop that out of the way and go in a bit. So just with my healing brush, and just select the area that I want to use, and I'm just going to clean up some of this dry skin. This could take me a little while, so I'm just selecting, using the healing brush. You could use a spot healing brush if you want, but I'm just using the healing brush, set to sampled, on current layer, although there's only one layer, so that's irrelevant on this particular image, and just sample an area and just keep sampling, move it around. So I'll just speed this up and I'll come back when I'm done. Okay, so as you can see, I've cleaned up all the bits of dry skin and all the rest of it, just to neaten his face up a little bit. So what we're going to do now is we're going to come through and do the advanced portrait retouch, and we're just going to let that run through for a second. Now it will come up and it asks you on these dust and scratch layers how much you want to remove and how much you want to blur and so forth. I've just left it at the 10, and it comes through and does what it needs to do. So we'll just give that a minute. Okay, and then I'll just pop that out of the way. Now it gives us a couple of various different layers. If we come down to the frequency separation, it gives you the low tones and the high texture. And what we can do is, if we come to the low tones, which is just working on the colors, not the details, we can then, using the lasso tool, we can come in and we can select an area that we want to work with and go to blur and add a Gaussian blur, and keeping it fairly low. You don't want to lose the details, we just want to soften up the color tones throughout the area. So I'm just going to leave it on, say, 2, and hit OK, and it'll do that, and then just continue on using the lasso tool. Now because we've already done the Gaussian blur, we can just, it's at the top of our filter stack, so just hit it again and it'll just repeat it again. So just keep going through, select, blur, select, blur, and this will just go through and soften up the color range and the tones in those areas. Do that one just there a bit more. So you can go through and just select various areas. And normally on somebody you wouldn't do their eyes, especially if you've got a model that's got makeup and whatever on, but because there's quite a bit of colour distortion just around that eye, I'll do that one a bit more. So that's your frequency separation. Then you've got your dodge and burn layer. Now there's actually, it says here there's a little note, brush 5% opacity. Now what it's referring to is you're going to paint on here with black and white for your dodge and burn, and it wants you to set your brush opacity down to 5%. As a recommendation. So if we drop that down to 5%, and if we have black chosen, we can come through and we can do our dodge and burn here. So we're just basically doing the shadows with the black, and not just on the face. If you want to add shadows back into the image again, wherever you've got a shadow, I might increase that actually to 10%, and I'm just going to burn in some of those shadows. So from the eye, just to add some contrast, down the nose, where the eyelid's shut, just along the fold in the lip, on the chin, the nose, around the outside of the cheek and the jaw, the hairline. And then we can swap over to the white, and we can repeat that. So with you doing your white, you've got down the nose, and sort of in an inverted triangle across the forehead. You've got an inverted triangle under the eye, on the lips you're going to have a bit of a highlight, and a little bit over the chin. He's got his top covering most of his chin, so you can't really see it as well, so just do a little bit more. So if I was to change this back to normal, that's pretty much what I've done. So an inverted triangle here on his head, down his nose, on his chin and his lips, and you can see the shadow areas that I've done as well. So I'm just going to put that back to overlay and come through and perhaps do a little bit more just to highlight his cheeks and so forth. Maybe even on his fingers a little bit. Okay, then we've got sharpen. So this, it's a suggestion again. We're going to be doing it on the layer mask. You set your brush to between 50 and 70% opacity on the eyes and 40 to 50% on the lips. So because it's a black layer mask, we need to have our brush set to white, and we're going to bump this up to say 70% and paint the eyelashes back in. Now it's already had a sharpen layer put on it, and this will just bring some details back. If you had open eyes, it will make a huge amount of difference. It really sharpen the eyes up and give a focal point. Did a little bit on his nose. I'll drop it down to 50%, and I'll sharpen these lips up a little bit, because you've always got those cute little cherub lips on the bubbies. And then there's a levels mask. You can come through and you can increase or come through and put maybe just a little bit of brightness back in. Oops, a bit too much contrast there. And then there's actually a contrast boost as well, so you can come through and you can have that on or off. It's up to you which way you want to go. I quite like it on. So that is the finished image. Okay, so just bringing it over here, I'll just turn that off for a tick, but these are the finished images side by side. I'll just scan that out a little bit more so you can probably just get a slightly better view of them. That's there. So you know, quite soft. It's probably maybe a little bit too bright just looking at it again, but you can go around and play with it. But you can see how it's softened the skin without leaving. There's still a lot of detail here. Yeah, it's averaged out the skin tones. I've gotten rid of all the dry skin, the spots. It's evened out the redness, adjusted for the blues, and just given a little bit more depth and interest to the image. So that is using the Portrait Perfection collection, which is available currently. It's $49. I think that's American. Use a conversion to work out what it is for you, and that's it. Using complete transparency here, I have not been paid at all for this review. This is just me playing around with it. So I will write up a blog post which is perhaps got a little bit more detail, but if you are interested, you can come here and have a sticky beak. There's also they've got lots of samples. There is some great videos they've actually got. There's one here. There's the showcase, and then how to use it, and then working with Portrait Perfection. So there's some more videos there that'll give you a bit more details as well. So yeah, check out their website. They've got not just Photoshop actions, they've got Lightroom presets, overlays for Photoshop, and there's also, if you go into their free presets, yeah, they've got a free sample pack that you can try as well. So that gives you Lightroom workflows and various other bits and pieces that you can do. So check them out. So that's it from me. Thanks for watching. I hope you found this enlightening. And don't forget to subscribe, and I'll catch you later. Bye for now.